Mm. I still like that.
Yeah.
I really like this. Woo! I love it. Jeff, do you love it?
I love it.
Do you love it? You sound real enthused.
I love it.
That's more like it. Thank you very much. Hello, this is Ken coming to you live from the Reverend Guitar Circle our Ranch here in sunny, beautiful, snowy, cold Toledo, Ohio. Not really snowy, but damn, it's still cold, isn't it?
Got cold again.
Blah. This is the long-awaited Eastsider Custom. Teased you last week by not talking about it, didn't I? Yeah, I was just trying to come up with the perfect demo lick, right? To show off exactly what this guitar is capable of, because it is capable of, single coil-ish, twangy stuff and absolute clarity and note definition, but it's also capable of the woman tone, as it were, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So Pete affectionately called this guitar during its development, he called it the Blues Caster. And he has been screwing around off and on for years with sort of a plank style slide guitar. 24 3/4 scale, single humbucker in the bridge, mahogany body thing, and then started chambering some stuff, and we started screwing around with it, and Pete had the idea of having a guitar that looked like his Eastsider, but had some tonal properties of, say, a famous semi-hollow guitar from the late 50s and 60s from the aforementioned brand that we shall never mention in this room. Am I right? Mm-hmm. And Naylor took that and ran with it. And again, there's a couple different prototypes of this, some of which are floating out there and some of which are in my stash.
I own one.
And in Jeff's stash as well. And it took us a minute to really get to what Pete was talking about. The sound came a little easier than the look. what we have going on here are Alnico humbuckers. This is the Reverend neck pickup. Let's get that delay thing off there. Just listen to that, man. We have such a killer neck humbucker in Naylor's Alnico. What is this, HA5?
Sure is.
This is a Carina body that's heavily chambered, and the Reverend 3-piece Carina neck. However, it is 24 3/4 scale as opposed to 25 1/2. It is set into the gorgeous double bound body. This is an Ebony fretboard. Still features Reverend's lacking tuners, of course. There is a maple veneer on the top and the back of the instrument. You've heard me say it before. Veneer is real wood. It's just cut very, very thin. And this is not on here for the tone. It's on here for the look, because Pete was really wanting that classic cherry. And as you can see the difference in the hue from just the Carina and the maple. And the maple really gives it that classic cherry vibe that Pete was looking for, of course, reminiscent of the old guitar that we're talking about from the brand that shall not be mentioned, the semi-hollow. 2 humbucker categories. They had larger bodies and stuff, didn't they?
A little bit bigger.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. I actually have similar guitars from the Heritage Company. I believe Heritage refers to them as 535s.
Ah.
Yeah, then we can talk about Heritage.
Of course.
They're my friends.
Love Heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the tone and the vibe he was going for with this, only in the shape, which is, damn, that's cool, right? There's your neck. So when you look at the bridge pickup, this is a custom bridge pickup designed by Joe, of course. Naylor does all of that for us. And with the blades, while it looks a little like a Barden style thing, it actually is quite a bit warmer, which is why I was digging on doing that intro with all of that fuzz, with that Marshall style distortion, because that's sort of a tone that gets associated with those guitars, at least in the 60s, because those guitars were used through the Marshall blues makers to sort of create that originally that sound that everybody was sort of sought after. So you'll notice even clean, there's great definition and still a little spank, but not that sort of piercing brightness that you get in a traditional Eastsider. Very warm guitar on the bridge pickup, and that is with the tone control all the way up. There's no bass contour on this. It's not a Pete Anderson thing. There is a phase switch, though, for the middle, which is very much a Pete thing. Pete likes that tone, especially with a little bit of overdrive. Really give you sort of a mid-rangey thing to really cut through the mix. And with the pickups out of phase, it does sound a lot like the Eastsider T. With the pickups out of phase, to my mind, maybe a little thicker. But there's that beautiful, rich tone of having both of these pickups on. And then the lead thing is just so cool. Single note stuff on the neck. Both pickups on. And the bridge. Pete Anderson Eastsider Custom from Reverend Guitars 2023. I'm sure Greg's hitting my phone right now.
Think so, huh?
Greg, yeah, when Greg was here last, he couldn't put the prototype down and then tried to shove it up his shirt as he walked out the door, if I recall correctly. A lot of cool Pete Anderson news too. Pete's book is dropping next week. Pete is publishing a new book called "How to Produce a Record," and I've been fortunate enough to see some excerpts, and yeah, man, super cool. And Pete would be the go-to for a textbook on how to produce a record.
He knows how to do that.
He does know how to do that, and he has those little funny-looking awards with the little old turntable thing on it lined up across his desk to prove that. Grammy, I think they call that. Yeah. Granny Awards. Got them Granny Awards to prove it. I don't know what else to say. I love this guitar. I think this is one of the coolest, most unique things that that our collaboration with Pete has come up with. And really, if you think about it over the years, Pete and Joe have come up with a lot of really cool shit together. You know, they have the funniest relationship, those two guys. They push each other in very, very strange ways. I think Pete thinks that Joe is a little over the top. I think Joe thinks that Pete is a little over the top. And when they settle in on something and it gets done, it is just awesome. So I love them both, man. Pete is obviously a huge friend of the company. Has become a really good friend of ours over the years. And if this is what the result of that is, then yeah, man. There you go. So anybody questions, comments? What do we got, Jeff?
Well, Crooked Goat.
Crooked Goat.
Yeah.
I like that. Crooked Goat.
As if there are any plans to include a belly carve at some point.
The way this guitar is chambered and with the double binding being one of the features on this, this will remain a slab guitar for sure. It's comfortable though, but that is actually the non-contour idea of this is part of the design. Yes. Yes.
Paul Conway says, let's hear the clean neck pickup. Bet it's great for jazz?
Indeed. Wish I knew how to play jazz for you. Tone out there a little bit. Play that with a pick instead of with my fingers. You beckon that tone control off. It still has some of that sort of chimey thing on the top. That's pretty cool. I never touched the tone control on a guitar, so I'm learning things.
Me neither. Yeah.
I'm learning things right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Cleans on the neck.
There it is.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That Ebony
You
really
just went away somewhere for.
I did. I enjoyed that. That Ebony really gives it a little spank.
Well, speaking of Ebony,
Yeah.
Eric wants to know if the Ebony was something Pete picked up from Reeves.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think those two things sort of came at each other from their own places organically.
Yeah, because the Vigo's Ebony too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've been kind of rocking on some of the Ebony stuff
Yeah.
lately. There's a certain spankiness. It might have something to do with Joe as well, dropping bombs in their
I think like the
headphones.
last however many signature models. I mean, when you go to the Gristle 90,
Yeah.
the Soul Agents, I mean, those are all Ebony.
There's
been
a
a
there's a
trend.
brightness thing that goes along with the shorter scale length and the Ebony that
Mhm.
really seems to work, And of course, the color of it is so rich and cool. And we started thinking about using more Ebony during all that. What was that? CITES nonsense that we had to deal with 5 years ago, and that brought a little more Ebony into our lives as we went to Palfaro, and that was met with mixed results, And the Palfaro is very, very dense, and so it wasn't as warm as rosewood was, and so we were doing some Ebony stuff just for color then, and I think that sort of put it on everybody's radar. We do get some figured Ebony every once in a while, and so you'll see some lines and some grain in it that looks pretty cool. Some more than others. I'm a fan of the sort of jet black fingerboard as well. I like it both ways. I don't think there's any advantage tone-wise to having the figured over the non-figured, but there you have it. So Eric, I don't know. What do you think of that?
Jeff Nixon asks, when will these start showing up out in the world?
Oh, they're showing up out in the world. We started shipping them a week ago Monday. So they are out there, and more to come. We are moving through them. We are getting we're getting a little overwhelmed with orders for this one. So I don't know if we made enough initially, but they are shipping. So you can find them out there at all the usual suspects.
They're in the world.
Yes.
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 Noel asks if you can see a close-up of the headstock. The logo looks a little different.
It is the, yeah, absolutely. This is the original Reverend script logo from 1997, and we have always featured this logo on Pete's Eastsider guitars. It's really the one place where we still utilize
It's
the
interesting
vintage logo.
'cause online it's been getting a lot of attention, but it's always been on all the Eastsiders.
Yeah, it's on. Oh, really? Yeah, it is.
But online people are like, oh wow, different logo.
That was something that Joe and I came up with when we launched the Eastsider, because when we originally launched the Eastsider T and the Eastsider S in 2011, it was pretty far off brand for Joe. Like Joe got dragged into that by Pete and I, and his initial response was just like, I don't want to do anything with that body shape. I have so many cool body shapes of my own and things that I've done, you know what I mean? And he just wasn't sure about it. But with Pete's reputation and with the ideas that Pete had on how to make that style guitar a little more accessible, then once we got Joe on board, Joe came up with the cool chambering thing for the resonance of the neck on the original Eastsider. And then Joe really spent some time, and then Joe says, well, nobody's ever really done those pickups right, so I'm going to do those pickups right. So we did these like vintage style pickups with like a special gauge wire and the special magnets and all the 9 yards, and really came up with a very, very cool vintage sounding T-style guitar. And the original Eastsiders were going to have the Reverend headstock. And then the more Joe looked at it, Joe was like, I don't really want to put my headstock on that. And I think that it looks kind of funny, like a 70s thing that Joe just wasn't digging that vibe at the time. And so Joe designed the Eastsider headstock, which is just a little bit narrower, and so it worked on the body visually for him more, because you're so used to looking at that. I mean, the vintage style of this guitar has been around since the late 40s, for crying out loud. So once we settled on the new headstock shape, and then we had the idea to just go ahead and put the old logo on it with the Eastsider moniker, like right on the headstock. It just was something that sort of fell together naturally. So yeah, all of the Pete guitars, all the Pete solid body guitars, the Eastsider T, the Eastsider S, the Eastsider Baritone, which we refer to as the Pete Anderson 3, here in house, and now this one, the Eastsider Custom, which we refer to as the PA4, PA1 being the hollow body, PA2T, PA2S are the original Eastsiders, and then PA3 Baritone, PA4 the Eastsider Custom. We have kept that logo on all of them. I gave you way too long of an explanation on the logo,
Well,
but I don't care.
PA1 has the other logo.
Yeah,
It's not an Eastsider.
right, but it's not an Eastsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been designated for this body style, this somewhat familiar body style.
Seen it somewhere before.
Anywho, my number one guitar, of course, being a PA2S.
Yes.
My Eastsider S. My poor Eastsider S.
It's seen some shit.
It's had a hard life.
Yeah.
And it just screams. I don't know what it is about that guitar, but it's all there. Yes. Before you guys ask if we're going to do these in any other colors, we have made no plans. We have not mocked up anything yet. The color of this guitar was very important to Pete, and we spent a lot of time getting this color right. So we've spent no time even thinking about doing other colors or what they would be. Now I have some ideas, like we could riff on that Heritage 535 concept, you know, and do like a proper burst would look nice on this as well. You know, I have ideas, but we haven't even, we're not there yet.
If we were to do other colors, will we continue with the maple veneer?
Well, that's what my thought would be.
I mean,
yeah.
if it doesn't necessitate it because of the coloring, then maybe it stays as Karina. Who knows?
But I think
what fun we would have thinking about that.
Well, and that's the fun I'm already having thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we utilize other colors from that era that the maple veneer would highlight. You know what I mean? Like a plain maple top, like burst, or maybe a natural. I don't know if
or a vintage clear.
Or a vintage clear or something to that effect. We'll see what happens down the road. This is a conversation I haven't even had with Anderson, so I probably shouldn't be having it here. And then we're going to get 90 color.
Right.
Yeah. Which is fine, because we look at that stuff and we're like, yeah, no, purple is a terrible idea, but for this, purple is a great idea for everything else in our line. Where's my purple? No, it's going to NAMM. I was looking for my Jetstream. I love that Jetstream. Oh, that periwinkle Jetstream is my. It's
cute.
Yeah.
So, Indrid Cold asks if there are any Sensei Junior models planned for this year, and I will begrudgingly finish this with. They also ask, we need more reverse headstock releases, which is.
Man, that second part of your comment is going to make the first part of your comment come true, because I'm just so pleased with that. I like your attitude. Yes. We do have a junior coming this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing. I'll just tell them. I think we're doing a burst. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it is. But.
Yeah, it'll be cool. There will be one coming later this year. We are working on a top secret signature model project right now that features a reverse headstock. Probably won't see it in 23. But
probably not.
Hope we see it in 24. Yes. That's all I'm going to say.
Steve Ward wants to know if there are any new roundhouse colors coming.
Yes. At the NAMM show in 3 weeks. Boom. Boom.
I got a couple people on here mentioning that they would like to see that their Eastsider Custom with the Bigsby.
Maybe. That's not really a Pete thing. I mean, it definitely is. It definitely is on the hollow body, but when it comes to solid body guitars, he's a little more traditional. I don't know how it would look with the Tunematic. I mean, I like that with the traditional.
Yeah, I mean that would all have to change.
Setup. Everything would have to change, and the neck angle would have to change, and it might alter the guitar a little bit too much. It would move it away from the guitar's original intention, tone-wise.
It would look cool.
But Bigsby's always look cool, dude.
Yeah,
they look cool on everything, you know, for sure. But I mean, if you're looking for a really, really good sounding ebony board Bigsby guitar, look no further.
Yeah.
That guitar is fantastic. Nate was in here the other day, just absolutely losing his mind over the clean tone properties of that new Rick Vito Soul Agent.
It's the Agent of Soul.
It is the Agent of Soul.
Pretty cool, man.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else before I wrap up? It's a busy day around here.
No. A lot
Excellent.
of people love it. I'll say
Oh,
that.
listen, man, thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. We worked really, really hard on this, and when we work hard on something and everybody loves it, the reaction to these two guitars, the Soul Agent and the Eastsider Custom, the reaction to these two guitars has been overwhelming for all of us, and it's been overwhelming for my sales team. So
They need something.
yeah, they did need something, yeah, for sure. So we appreciate you very, very much. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for tuning in today. And upcoming, so many things that are happening. Me personally and Jeff, if you're in the Toledo area, we are playing. Our bands are sharing the same stage for the first time.
For the first time ever.
Yeah, and man, I'm not gonna say.
Well,
I think
maybe
you're
back in like the 1900s, we might have.
Yeah, I think your shitty high school punk band opened up for my shitty 30-something guy punk band at the Bottle Rocket in like 1999 or 2000 or something. I used to be in a band called the All-Star Has-Beens with a bunch of weirdos, some of which work in this building, I think, or have anyway. And then, yeah, God, that was a good time. But no, tomorrow night the Zimmerman Twins are playing at the Ottawa Tavern with a cool band from Brooklyn, New York called the Razor Braids. And Jeff's band, this is your new project, this is first gig?
First show with the new project.
Tell us a little about the new project,
it's
Jeff.
called High Draw.
High Draw.
It's I don't know, it's kind of just like a fast rock band.
Awesome.
Like Bear versus Shark type stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Not only is Jeff in that band, but Reverend Tech Brian is in that band. BGB on the back of the Headstocks. BGB is also in that band. So if you're in Toledo tomorrow and want to check out the rock music, fairly early show. I think doors are at 7, music's at 7:30, music's at 8.
I don't know. You tell me.
Something like that. Yeah. I know. I think your band is on about 8:30, and the Twins are on about 10:15. That's what I hear.
You tell me, man.
That's what I hear through the grapevine. So yeah, if you're in Toledo, come down for that. And then we are in the middle of NAMM season here. Getting everything boxed up and ready to go. We're going to have a fantastic NAMM show this year. I'm going to keep talking about it to everyone. But if you are heading out to the NAMM extravaganza, not only do we have Reverend and Railhammer booths there, and Mr. Naylor will be joining us, as well as Jeff, and my sales manager, Zach Ward. And of course, Miss Penny. We're bringing out the band Hello Mary from Brooklyn. I'm really excited to spend some time with these women. Their band is just kick-ass. Check out Hello Mary. Check out their new release. They are playing on the Hilton stage at 8 p.m. on Thursday night at the Hilton Hotel for the NAMM organization, for the NAMM show, NAMM sponsored event. And then on Friday night, April 14th, Reverend Guitars presents Lilac Cadillac, Hello Mary, and Reverend Artists Bad Cop, Bad Cop. We're having a huge show at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, which is just up the street from the convention center. Tickets are available now. A NAMM badge is not going to get you in. But if you see me at the NAMM show, I'll have a limited number of passes for the show available. But there are tickets available online through Chain Reaction. Look up Bad Cop, and we can get you all taken care of there.
I believe it's allages.com.
It is allages.com is the venue's website. Yep. And I'm super excited about this whole thing. And we have a special surprise when it comes to Bad Cop. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the NAMM show this year. If you thought we were done, we're not done. No, we're never done. We have a lot of cool shit coming out. So we're super fired up about the NAMM show. And then after NAMM, for all my friends in Texas, people who I saw last week when I was down there, I'll be back first weekend of May. Penny and I will be down for the Dallas International Guitar Festival. Reverend Guitars is presenting the Clinician stage at Dallas this year. Greg and I will be featured on the Clinician stage a few times while we're there. Greg is also playing in the Masters of the Telecaster show. He'll be down there with his band, and he'll also be joining Red Volkart for the set on the Telemasters thing, which is badass, of course. Too much. You
just said a lot of words, man.
Too much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm gonna play that riff, that gain again, because
okay.
I just think it's so cool.